Hi everyone, my name is Kaya Lee. I'm a student at Gallatin College in Bozeman, Montana. I've been a member of the Intermountain chapter since 2019, and I'm excited to be joining the 2021 chapter board as the student representative. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about one of our upcoming chapter events. In the spring, we're going to be hosting a special student event and senior portfolio showcase. The Intermountain chapter loves its students, and one of the best parts of the traditional annual meeting is feeling the excitement and energy of the student members. We're certainly going to miss this part of our usual gathering, but we are happy to announce a special event that's going to be focused exclusively on the student members. This event is going to include a question and answer panel with industry professionals, as well as a senior portfolio showcase. All 4-year and 2-year seniors are encouraged to enter their portfolios, which will then be reviewed by a group of chapter professionals. The top 3 in each category will be revealed and awarded during the showcase. This will also be a virtual event, and we really hope that all students will be able to join us. Stay tuned for more information, and I look forward to working with you as your 2021 student.
Interior designers can offer and fulfill high-end services with a fabric care company that ensures customer happiness for years to come.
I'm trying to really communicate to my clients it's the luxury living that lasts. And without FiberSaw, I don't think that I can really pull this off.
You likely spend around 3 months to find the right sofa piece. The last thing you want is your client to end up with furniture that can't be cared for. FiberSeal has you covered. FiberSeal is America's #1 fabric protection and cleaning company for residential or commercial interiors. We have service centers located all throughout the country, so we're always in reach. FiberSeal cares about our environment. That's why we are constantly working to improve all of our products. We are more than a fabric protection company with state-of-the-art products. We are a personalized service company. Fabric is protected at the sale, and the customer is protected after the sale. For designers, working with us involves just 3 simple steps. First, you'll meet with a fabric care consultant. Then tell your clients about FiberSeal. Lastly, just call us with the client's name, and we'll take care of the rest. FiberSeal. Fabric care that builds your brand.
I would say to anybody that's thinking of entering the contest to absolutely go for it. There's nothing to lose. To be recognised and to be a part of a global competition with such a premium product is something that's really, really fantastic, not only for yourself, your team, your staff, but also your clients.
I mean, anytime you have your name associated with an international contest, it's a good thing for business. And the fact that it's tied to Sub-Zero Wolf Cove doesn't hurt at all. I mean, those brands are synonymous with high quality and good design, and the fact that my name could be associated with that can only help business.
You know, designers spend a lot of time competing against each other, and this is an opportunity where we can all get together and figure out our similarities. That camaraderie is something that's rare in the industry. Spending that time competing and spending that time trying to get designs in isolation is much different than getting together, celebrating, and really high-fiving each other at the Sub-Zero event.
Over the years, my reps have encouraged me to submit a kitchen for the design contest, and I felt like I finally had one this year that was worthy. I hope that being a part of the contest proves that I am passionate about design, not just the aesthetic part, but the quality and performance part as well. I would say don't wait as long as I did to enter.
This bite began here. This toast started with this tour. This meal goes all the way back to this moment. The Sub-Zero Wolf and Cove showroom will help you envision, plan, and enjoy the kitchen you've always wanted.
What is it that drives us, inspires us, pushes us to reach greater heights, challenging ourselves to improve our coatings in every way possible? It's the relentless pursuit of perfection in everything we do, in everything that matters, and no detail is too small. It's knowing that together we have the opportunity to understand our customers on a much deeper level and take their visions beyond the expected. Because when it comes to the performance of our coatings, we constantly ask ourselves, how much faster can this happen? How much stronger can it be? What more can we learn? What innovations will we discover? And where else can we go? We're Sherwin-Williams, and we're obsessed with what's next.
Hi, I'm Sue Wadden, the Director of Color Marketing for Sherwin-Williams, and my job is to lead color for our company. Super excited about this product. It's not only our best-in-class product, but it's tied to 200 brand new colors, available only in the Emerald Designer Edition. We've got a brand new ultra white base, which allows for the incredible performance with our brightest, cleanest white. So for designers, they'll be astounded by the results. Beautiful surface and finish, great sheens, amazing performance in the right colors, the colors that they're looking for. So once we got research from the field and designers, I looked at the colors that we had in our system, but there were gaps that we really needed to build into this system, and that's what these collections are going to do for us. And then we do the inspiration. So what's going on in color trend forecasting? What are we seeing in architecture and design into the next decade? So we've got warm neutrals, cool neutrals, natural neutrals, chromatics, and blues and greens, which really create a comprehensive program for designers. My favorites are in the blues and greens. There's a color called Succulent that is absolutely beautiful, but I love all of them. It's hard to pick a favorite. Emerald Designer Edition is, simply put, our best-in-class product. I really think that this product and these colors will help designers take their projects to the next level.
For the break, we have 4 signature ASID cocktails and 1 mocktail.
And all of these utilize a jam base that you may already have in your fridge. You can follow along with us, or you can check the recipes that were emailed to you and do them later.
So I'm going to show you how to make a cherry coconut rum cocktail. So we're going to start by putting ice in your glass and get that chilling. Get some ice into your shaker. So we're going to start with a tablespoon of cherry jam, 2 ounces of coconut rum, 2 ounces of lime juice, strain that into chilled glass. Garnish with a lime and enjoy.
For this next one, we are going to make a jam and tonic juicy. our gin and tonic.
Okay, so now we're going to make a berry vodka cocktail. So we're going to start by putting some ice into the cocktail shaker. 1 shot, 2 ounces of vodka. Half shot of elderflower liqueur. Shot of fresh squeezed lemon juice. Tablespoon of, right now we're using blackberry jam, but whatever berry jam you have. Stream that into a glass. Top that. Soda, and garnish with a berry jam, lemon, and vodka berry cranberry. Whatever this is, cocktail.
Okay, now we're going to make a big bourbon cocktail. So we're going to fill this up with ice and do 1 shot of bourbon. A dash of maple syrup, a little bit. A tablespoon of fig jam. 1 ounce of freshly squeezed lemon juice. And shake that up. And we're going to pour it over some ice and top it off with some club soda. Add some lemon garnish. And there you have your fig bourbon cocktail. This is going to be our mocktail for tonight. We are going to start by filling our glass with some ice. This one we're doing in a fine jam jar. We're going to add a tablespoon of raspberry jam. And use half the juice, or if you like lemon, you can obviously use more. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and shake it up.
Hello, my name is Gretchen Manning, and I own Grovant Designs in Jackson, Wyoming. I have been an Intermountain chapter member since 2001, and I am honored to be one of this year's annual meeting committee members. I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors for sponsoring this year's keynote speaker. Thank you to Anna Augusto of Augusto Fine Rugs out of Boise, Idaho, for helping sponsor this year's speaker. Augusto Fine Rugs is a full-service area rug design studio specializing in luxury carpets, rugs, and custom pieces. We also want to thank Evelyn Haupt of Roth Living out of Salt Lake City, Utah, for her support in sponsoring this year's keynote speaker. Roth Living is your luxury appliance showroom destination. And finally, a big shout out to Darren Bartels of Fiber Seal of Salt Lake City, Utah, for his support in supporting this year's speaker. You can contact Darren for all of your post-installation fabric protection and needs. Thank you and enjoy our keynote speaker.
Hi, I'm Linda Zacchio, a professional member of ASID since 1994. Because I've seen a lot of design in my time, I'm pretty discerning who I like and who I buy magazines from. And just last week, I bought one because I was intrigued by the cover, which was colorful, character-filled, and of course, it was the work of our keynote speaker, who I'm honored to introduce because I like her so much, Sheila Bridges. Named America's Best Interior Designer by CNN and Time magazine, Sheila Bridges founded her own interior design firm also in 1994. As creative director, Sheila has thoughtfully designed residence offices for many prominent entertainers, entrepreneurs, and business professionals, including the 8,300 square foot Harlem offices for former President Bill Clinton. Sheila Bridges Design, Inc. has also completed projects for prestigious academic institutions such as Columbia and Princeton. Bridges' signature design aesthetic has been featured in numerous publications, including Architectural Digest, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, Interior Design, House and Garden, Domino, and Traditional Home magazines. She has been featured in many top designer lists, including House Beautiful's Top 100 Interior Designers and Elle Decor's 2011 through 2020 A-list. This latter list recognizes designers who exemplify continually relevant design. Sheila is also the author of 2 books, Furnishing Forward, A Practical Guide to Furnishing for a Lifetime, released in 2002, and The Bald Mermaid, a memoir, published in 2013. Along with running a successful interior design business, Sheila hosted 4 seasons of Sheila Bridges Designer Living for the Fine Living Network. The half-hour weekly series and award-winning hour specials showcase Sheila's practical wisdom and hands-on advice. In 1996, Sheila's passion for interiors inspired her to design furniture and home furnishings under the name Sheila Bridges Home, Inc. Her collections have been sold to the trade, online, through Anthropologie and Bed Bath & Beyond. Sheila is honored to have her Harlem Toile de Jouy wallpaper represented in the Smithsonian Cooper Hewitt National Design Museum's permanent wallpaper collection. Her designs have been showcased in many exhibits in museums throughout the United States and Europe, including the Museum of Art and Design in New York City, the Brooklyn Museum, Musée de la Toile de Jouy in Jouy-en-Josas, France, and most recently, the Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C., where I did see it. Originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Sheila Bridges moved to New York City in 1986. She holds degrees from Brown University and Parsons School of Design and studied decorative arts in Polimoda in Florence, Italy. She lives in Harlem, New York City, and joins us now through the magical cloud. I am so proud to present our keynote speaker, Sheila Bridges.
Sheila, thank you so much for the opportunity to have you as our speaker at our annual meeting. We come together as members and students of the American Society of Interior Designers. We have members in Utah, Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho. We make up the largest geographical chapter of ASID. So we're thrilled to have you with us this year. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's been super exciting to see you in the press this year. It was great to open the mailbox and to see your work. It's been fantastic, not only to see the A-list and your top 10 things in Elle Decor, and also your home.
Thank you. Yeah, it was very exciting, especially, you know, sort of during COVID to actually to open my mailbox and to actually receive the same magazine. So it really, you know, it was really nice, especially during a time which has been sort of so incredibly challenging to, you know, just to see this and have it happen, you know, this year in particular.
So maybe you could bring us up to speed. It's been quite a year, obviously, for you in the press, but also with COVID. I think we're all transitioning to a new lifestyle. What's that been like for you?
I mean, it's been challenging. I think in the same way, I have to imagine it's been challenging for everyone. I think, you know, everyone has, you know, their own set of sort of like unique challenges. You know, whether it's that, you know, your kids are home, or, you know, you suddenly, you know, have found yourself, you know, doing things that you wouldn't ordinarily do, because again, I think we've just all been sort of thrust into this thing that is so kind of unpredictable. So for me, it's, you know, it's been hard. I mean, I feel very fortunate that, so I've been pretty much holed up here in my house in the Hudson River Valley in upstate New York. And, you know, I've just felt better about being here because I can be outdoors, which is really nice, as opposed to New York City, which was very, very hard in the very, very beginning. But it's, you know, it's definitely challenging trying to navigate, you know, how to run a business, in a way, almost remotely, virtually. And I'm still, I think, like a lot of people, really trying to figure that out and figure out what kind of the future of my own business, you know, what that's going to look like.
How do you stay resilient during times like this?
Well, I mean, again, I think it's just, it's hard. It's been really hard. I mean, I think like a lot of people, the first couple of months, I was just kind of in a state of shock. And, I mean, there was just, you know, there were layers and layers of this. When I say this, just this period that we've been in, not only COVID, but then sort of an uptick in awareness, you know, about the Black Lives Matter sort of movement. There've just been a lot of things that have happened. I think most people agree, you know, in the last several months that have sort of created kind of a little bit more of an awareness. I think on the part of a lot of people, and certainly a lot of people in the design community. But it's been hard. I mean, it's just been, you know, staying very close to, you know, sort of friends and family, making sure I'm, you know, whether I'm FaceTiming or, you know, on Zoom, which gets a little tiresome. But, you know, trying to stay connected. I think the most important thing is to stay connected. Because otherwise, I think, you know, especially for myself, I think it can be very isolating, you know, for people. I think it's, you know, clearly, you know, very anxiety arousing, very stressful, you know, both the financial part for many of us, as well as the kind of emotional part of it as well. So I guess for me, it means really trying to stay connected with people who, you know, I care about and who, you know, who care about me. So what about you? Have you been also finding it challenging?
I think it has been challenging. You know, we're not going out. You know, your patterns all change. So
yeah. Yep.
I think that's been the redefining part, is kind of figuring out, you know, how to find the balance. How do you get that fresh air? We find ourselves doing lots of walks around the block.
That's great, though. It's great. that. I think I'm, again, I think my biggest concern is what's about to happen, which is that now this morning here it was 32 degrees. We've had our first couple of nights of frost in September. It's really pretty early for New York. And so, it's getting dark earlier, the days are shorter. And I think, when you wake up and it's dark and get home from work and it's also dark, early in the evening, and then we're also spending so much time indoors. I think that for a lot of people is going to be a big adjustment, myself included.
So Sheila, I'm going to share my screen, and so we can see some of your great images. And
all right, wonderful.
All right.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
So it's been, as I said, it's been pretty exciting to see your, and maybe I can give a little bit of backstory. I have an image coming up. Sheila came to Utah State in 2018, and our students were fortunate to work on Sheila's house that we're going to see in just a few minutes. So I think for students, this has been a really amazing journey to work on it. They came up with your top, at that time, top 12 things. And I know you saw a lot of those in the Eldecor magazine, and now it's kind of come full circle, and here we are.
It really has, which is pretty funny, isn't it?
So this was also pretty exciting as well. I'm super excited about your the Converse.
Yeah, my Converse sneakers, right? Yeah, they just got delayed again. They were supposed to come out this week, I think. They were supposed to drop, but I think it's been pushed now. I mean, I just heard the other day, I think it's been pushed to maybe the very beginning of October. Originally, it was supposed to be a summer sneaker, and then because of COVID, and the sneakers are actually made in Asia, so everything got delayed. So, yeah, but excited for those to come out. Yeah.
So tell us about the Queen of Toile.
Yeah, the Queen of Toile. Well, my Harlem Toile is, probably one of my most popular designs. And so people have now started associating me with toile so much that someone sort of dubbed me the Queen of Toile. I don't know if it's like, Mario Boita, who was the Prince of Chintz, and now I'm the Queen of Toile. I don't know if that's how I'm going to be remembered, but anyway, I'll take the name. I think it's really fun and kind of funny. But this was a cover of a magazine called Designers Today, and an artist named Doug Meyer. I guess I was sort of his muse, and so he actually sculpted. I mean, this is like a really three-dimensional sculpted piece, and then I guess it was photographed. So he painted the toile, my toile, Harlem Toile, in the background, and then like I said, he put me in this in this piece, and I guess it was photographed, and it's on the cover of the September issue of Designers Today. So I think it's really fun, and I love his work, and so I feel kind of honored to be, the muse of an artist, which is not something that happens every day.
So this brings us back to our your time at Utah State. So
yeah.
as we look at your home, it's can you talk to us a little about the process? What was what was that? How did that work?
Which process of the design, which
of the magazine, from moving in, finishing the house?
Oh, so I mean, I think sort of, what happens generally if you have a project or a finished project, you submit it to a magazine, and I guess the magazine either chooses to publish it or not. I mean, I have, of course, when that happens, and Eldecor, kind of wanted the project, they send a photographer to shoot, the project. So there was a photographer whose name is Frank Francis. It was the first time I had worked with him. He came with his tech person, and then there was a stylist who Eldecor sent, and I guess it was just the four of us working. Especially, this was shot during COVID, so everybody was in sort of PPE and socially distanced. It was shot in, I guess, July. So thankfully, we were able to be outdoors, in between, shooting and trying to make sure that everybody sort of stayed safe. But yeah, it was also, I mean, this was sort of historic in a way because it was the first time, at least to my knowledge, that Hearst had, and certainly if not Hearst, certainly El Decor, did a story where, the photographer was Black, the subject and designer was Black, and also the writer of the story. So, kind of the importance of, pulling from this pool of talent of people of color, which doesn't really happen that much in the mainstream media world. So again, I think some of these things are starting to shift and to change. So it was exciting, in that way. And part of the reason I think the article was called, Remember This House.
This image here, it fascinates me for lots of reasons.
What's that?
I said this image here fascinates me.
Oh, yeah. So I love kinetic art and I love mobiles. And I think ever since I was a child, when I went to Philadelphia Museum of Art, which had a lot of Calder's things, Alexander Calder, and have always loved his work. And I'm always inspired by art. And so I also love the work by Niki de Saint-Phal. And so I created these mobiles. There was the one in my dining room, which you previously saw, which is also behind my head, over my head, which is made out of carved wood blocks. And then this one is actually, these are fiberglass. They're actually over me where I'm seated right now, but you can't really see. And then they were painted, but they're hollow. So they're very, very lightweight. And I worked with an artist in order to, she made them in order for them to come to life. And installing them was not an easy task. I have sort of 30-foot ceilings. So we had to get scaffolding in to get these up in the air and balanced. And it was a little challenging, but hopefully they'll stay here. And yeah, I just wanted to do something with sort of biomorphic kind of forms and color, and just things that are, to me, that I enjoy. This is kind of my study on the second floor, which looks out over those mobiles. You can see the crows that are up on the beam. Those are actually from a designer in Italy, in Milan. They actually are lights and are supposed to have hanging lights, but I actually, it was just too much going on up there. So I just like the idea of so I took the light part out with the bulb and I just let the crows sit on the wood beam, kind of overlooking everything. So, I love to do interiors, particularly for myself, that have, elements that are, I think express kind of my sense of humor and a little bit of, whimsy, and that are really kind of thought evoking when people come in. And there's a lot of like visual stimulation, a lot of things for you to look at and to see. Oh yeah, this is my bathroom, which wasn't in the actual magazine, but it was photographed. So yeah, it's my bathroom. I actually repurposed my mural that was from the Kip Space show house that I did, is actually on the wall of the vanity, and I hate wasting things. And it was such a beautiful mural that was hand painted for the room that I designed at the Kip Space show house in 2019. And everything had to be removed from the house when we finished, all the designers who participated in the show house. And we did all the mural that went around, and I'm sure you probably have a picture of it probably later on or something, but we had to remove everything. And so we had all the murals done on canvas, and then that way, they were removed, and that's how I ended up with it on my bathroom wall. So this is my study, again, sort of on the second floor. And it's just, I love art. I love being surrounded by art. So, and I love doing a salon wall, kind of a gallery wall with, lots of things incorporated. And then the other thing for me, I have some of the pieces are pieces that existed before, probably before I did, or about the same time. The clock, the modern sort of grandfather clock, belonged to my parents. It was in my parents' house from the 60s until I sold my parents' house. So that's, a piece that I grew up with, and it chimes. I don't know if you heard it, but it chimed a few minutes ago. Still chimes, and I don't hear it because I spent my entire childhood and life growing up with that. And then the chair kind of in the foreground was a chair that my parents had that was always in our living room growing up, but I had it reupholstered. So I feel like, in a way, my parents, if they were still alive, would feel very much at home in the new house that I built.
That's wonderful.
I think everybody knows how I have this saying that I've never met a stripe I didn't like. So I love to incorporate colorful stripes and kind of fun color combinations whenever I have an opportunity. And to me, kind of a bathroom or a powder room, that's always, a great place, I think, to do that. I mean, it might get a little much for some people, but this is a small guest bathroom, and yeah, it's just fun. And that Cat in Couture painting by a local artist here in the Hudson Valley, who just does these wacky paintings that usually have a lot of animals in them. And it was just fun. And it's a nice surprise when you open the bathroom door, I think. And then this little detail, I collect Hudson River School paintings, or at least I used to. And so I have one wall in my bedroom. This picture is from my bedroom. It just has all these kind of, Hudson River School paintings. It's not that they're all, sort of valuable or important, but it's more just the idea kind of being in an area which has, is known for, Hudson River School, Thomas Cole, Frederick Church, all these people who, produced great works of art, in the Hudson Valley, who were inspired by the incredible light and landscape that we have here in this area. So yes, that's my staircase as you come up the stairs. Again, a combination of pieces that belong to my mother. Loved to collect African American art, so many of the pieces belong to her, or were pieces that were given to me as gifts over the years. Mix of my own things, my own art. There's just a lot of portraiture. And that paint that it's actually a pencil drawing. On the very top is my dad, which was drawn by a very good friend of his. And I kind of love the idea that every time I come up the stairs, like when I was growing up, that my dad is kind of looking down the stairs at me as I'm trying to sneak up the stairs after my cute curfew or something. But anyway, yeah, kitchen. This is actually what has become kind of my office. I normally sit on the other side of the counter, which you can't see, that has stools. And that's where I kind of spread out all of my work during the day, where I make most of, sort of Zoom calls and have meetings. And I'm not a big fan of, which I'm sure of white kitchens. So I don't mind having white walls, but white kitchen cabinets you'll never see in one of my homes. So this was, kind of a beige taupe color, still very neutral. And the fun splash of color is my SMEG dual fuel range. And to do the range in a color as opposed to stainless. So again, just having fun with color. And I just think you should really enjoy wherever it is that you live, and especially since we're spending a whole lot of time there. Pool house, little. Oh, so I can't hear you. Wait, are you?
I'm still here.
Oh, you are. Okay. Pool house, yes, which was amazing this summer during COVID, because part of what has kept me sane is that until it got so cold, is that I sort of swim every day. And that's everybody has, whether it's running or walking or whatever the thing is you do that kind of helps to keep things, kind of balanced. For me, swimming is my outlet. So I haven't figured out what I'm going to transition to. Like I said, it was 32 degrees this morning. So my pool is still open, because normally in September the weather is very, very warm. But yeah, I'm not getting in that water. So this is my apartment, which was on the cover of Elle Decor, probably like 16 years ago or something like that, a long time ago. And yeah, and again, as you can see, I love art, and again, it's just a mix of things. There's Wickham, my former barn cat from upstate New York, and anyway, yeah, I just, that's my apartment in Harlem, and again, love of color and texture and pattern and all of those things. So, the house that I'm in up here is a lot more contemporary, and the apartment in Harlem, I think, is more consistent with the architecture. It was built at the turn of the century. Again, you see a stripe incorporated. It's sort of my signature stripe. And in my home office in Harlem. So, yeah.
Is there a theme or mantra in your work?
I don't know. I mean, I think, it's kind of, I still believe very much in sort of the idea of furnishing forward, which was what my first book was called. The idea of, sort of buying things that you love, and somehow you'll find a place for them. And trying to buy good pieces of furniture, things that are made well, that are somewhat timeless in terms of style or silhouette. And those things, I mean, there a lot of these things I've owned for 20 years, and they don't go out of style. You might change the upholstery or the color, might change the art on the walls, move things around to have fun with it. But I think for me, the foundation, really things that that are timeless and that are going to stand the test of time. This is a guest bedroom in my apartment in Harlem. I read a lot, or at least I used to read a lot, and ran out of bookshelf space, and so I had those words are all hand painted on the walls. This is a client's home in Harlem that I just happened to see is on the market. So this is a townhouse in Harlem, and just warm tones, and it's a brownstone, and yeah, it's a job that we did a few years ago.
Sheila, what would you say if someone asked you what inspires you?
What inspires me? Well, I would say that I find the most inspiration probably from nature and art. I would say are the two biggest, probably nature and art. But I feel like, my work is informed by culture, and I love and travel. I mean, one of the things that, of course, is, I think is hard right now with COVID is, the inability to travel. And that's a place where I find a great deal of inspiration for my work. So yeah, here's this room again in my apartment where all these words have been hand stenciled onto the wall and painted, which was very slow process. But it's just things from books that and writers that I love, and it's very impactful. I think when you see it in person. this is my little pied-à-terre in Iceland, in Reykjavik, of course, which I have not seen since I cannot travel there at this time. But I have a little terrace. It's a tiny little apartment, but it's my little escape place, or used to be my escape place, but I can't escape there now. And lots of my designs. That's one of my wallpapers. It's just very colorful and fun and vibrant. And I tried to, again, pull things. A lot of the art is by, Icelandic artists, and using some of their designs. That chair on the left is a very classic, but modern, Icelandic chair that is upholstered in Icelandic wool. Things like that. So just, again, trying to sort of stay true and authentic to where I am. And yeah, that's my, you're making me nostalgic now, Darren. I want to go back to my place in Iceland. So yeah, it's just, like I said, it's my escape place. It's very fun and colorful. My tiny little bedroom. And again, just more color, the idea, certainly in the last couple of pictures, that I think a lot of designers relate to, which is, treating the ceiling like the fifth wall, as opposed to, all ceilings need to be white. I mean, in this picture, it is white, but a lot of the spaces I actually, do something colorful or interesting on the ceiling. Yes, and that's what I spend a lot of time doing when I'm in Iceland, is riding Icelandic horses, who are great, and we're just out on a trail with some friends. And yeah, so that's kind of what I do to escape. So
Sheila, maybe we can shift our conversation and talk a little about your work in product design.
yeah, absolutely. So this is my Harlem Toile de Jouy, which a lot of people are familiar with. The origin of my toile was that I couldn't find a toile that I wanted for my own home. I'd been looking and looking at toiles at different showrooms, and just there was nothing that really spoke to me personally. But I've always loved toiles and have incorporated them into a lot of my design projects. But so I created my own that sort of spoke to me. And this one, the origins are that it talks about stereotypes, but also is celebratory at the same time. And I think product design gives me an opportunity to express a lot of my personal and political, views, kind of as an artist, without worrying about, sort of the clients. And because I designed this for myself, so it didn't really matter if anybody else really liked it or not, because I was designing it for my own home. And then a lot of people, saw it and were interested, and then it sort of expanded from there. So the collection, we expanded it to include, so it's wallpapers and fabrics, and then the porcelain dinner plates and the glassware, which we're sold out of now. And I get lots of hate emails from people who don't understand why I won't bring these back. We try to do everything sort of limited edition, so that people feel as though they have something very, very special. And then when we sell out of it, we move on to the next thing. So umbrellas we've done, which are very, very popular. That's in our Daylily orange. And then we moved from the tall umbrellas to small umbrellas. So it gives me, those are the little collapsible umbrellas. So I try to have fun with the products and bring products to the marketplace that are affordable. If for people who can't necessarily afford to hire an professional interior designer, some clothing, a little bit of everything, I guess, with the brand. Last year, we did this project with a company called Union, based in Los Angeles, and Nordstrom Men's. So these were shorts and shirts, and there's my wallpaper in the background that we did for Union and Nordstrom Men's, which was very successful and sold out. We also did a project with Sonos for speakers. This is their 1SL speaker. I've been begging them to bring this back for sale in the marketplace, but it was a really fun speaker, and I have lots of them in my home. So, and our latest, which is the Converse Chuck Taylor, the Chuck High. Again, these were supposed to come out before summer, but will be released in the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited to see these. I have mine and I wear them all the time. So, and a lot of my wallpapers. Yeah, I love designing wallpapers, and yeah, a few of the different designs. This is Van Gogh, which was inspired by Vincent van Gogh. And I was in the Netherlands, I guess in Amsterdam, at the Van Gogh Museum, and felt inspired. Also love stags and deer, and again, just sort of the visual hackery and kind of fun that comes along with creating things like this. And there is Madison. So maybe you can talk a little bit about this project.
So when Sheila came, one of the things that the students did is they each designed a unique wall covering for her powder room, and the students each presented the wall covering. And then this is pretty exciting to see this. I noticed it this summer on your website, and I know Madison is thrilled about this, and so
yeah,
happy.
so Madison did this amazing paper. Well, first of all, most of the students did really incredible wallpaper designs for the class that I was involved in, and I thought it would be a fun exercise to have them create a custom paper. And but I was the client, so it was going to be for my powder room. And as I said, the pattern or design that I choose, I will put in my actual powder room. So this is a photograph of my actual powder room in this house, and I love it. Every time people walk in, it's such a surprise. I did this colorway with the black and the sort of lavender, and then I have little pot of lavender there on the sink. And it's called Garden Tools, and everything kind of in the powder room kind of speaks to the garden. I'm a big gardener and I love to garden, so it was really the perfect paper, I think, for my powder room. So thank you, Madison. My two books. First book was Furnishing Forward, which is a design book, a practical guide to furnishing for a lifetime. And then my second book, was a personal memoir called The Bald Mermaid. And this is an interior that we did for a client several years ago. It was published a long time ago in House and Garden magazine, which of course doesn't exist here in the U.S. anymore. And that's a Kara Walker that is on the wall of my client's living room. Again, I love the opportunity to incorporate art, into an interior, and certainly, if there's something as significant as a piece like that, really take the cues for design, from the actual art.
So we have a few questions from some of our students and some of our professional members. Let's start with a student question. This is coming from Megan Orm, one of our students at Utah State. She asked, what's the best advice from going from graduating from school and transitioning to the real world of design? What advice do you have?
Gosh, that's kind of tough. Well, I guess if you get a job at either a firm or I believe that it's actually better to work for someone first to really kind of continue learning and get practical experience. It's very different what you learn in a classroom to what you learn when you're actually in the field working, I think, in design. So I still believe, even though now a lot of people just kind of start out doing things on their own, I really think it's valuable to work for someone and get that experience and exposure. I think it's just important to, be flexible, be open-minded and flexible, and have a willingness to just kind of pitch in wherever it's needed. I think, for me, when I'm looking to hire someone, I need, you to have very good design skills from school. But I think I just, I like working with people that who are enthusiastic and have a positive attitude, and, just have a willingness to, to try different things, and are eager to be helpful and to learn.
This is a student from Montana, and she asks, have you had any significant mentors in your career, and how did they influence or impact your success?
I mean, sadly, I really didn't. I really didn't. I mean, I think for me, one of the biggest challenges was being a woman, in an industry that is generally dominated by men, and also being a woman of color. And so there were not a lot of people who looked like me when I got into design, or that I knew of. And so navigating that was pretty challenging. I think it's very different now, I think, for young designers. But yes, if you can have a mentor or find a mentor, I think that's, it's amazing, and would probably have been, very, very helpful. But I loved design, was passionate about design, and any opportunity I had to sort of further my knowledge or learn more, I tried to take advantage of. And, without, having a mentor.
Here's a question coming from one of our professional members in Idaho. She said, what is your secret to successful delegation and design collaboration?
Oh, I have not figured that out fully at this point in time. It's hard. I mean, I think especially those of us who are in business for ourselves, the tendency to sort of micromanage everything, especially because my name is on it. So I'm not great at delegating. I'm great at delegating if I feel like I'm very closely aligned with the person I'm working with. I do love collaborations. I love when other people bring a different type of expertise to the table, whether it's the type of materials that we're working with, something that I'm not familiar with. But again, I think, to the extent that you can either delegate or collaborate with people who are, just as passionate as you, usually you find some way to kind of make it work.
Here's another good question that says, what opportunity for change do you see in the industry in the wake of COVID, and also in the light of the current social movements?
Well, I think, and I hope, I think design, the industry as a whole, is beginning to, open doors more. I think there's a little bit more of an awareness. I think design historically has been a very, very exclusive profession. And, I think it's overdue to change. I think there has to be more inclusiveness of, designers of color, and people have to be more open-minded, about just, hiring someone who might be outside of your circle of people that you would ordinarily hire, both as clients and also as designers or architects in their offices, or, having an intern who, again, maybe isn't your best friend's daughter, but someone else who could really use that opportunity and exposure. I think we have a long way to go in this industry and profession, but I'm excited about the future. I feel hopeful because I do see so many different and diverse faces now in the design industry in general, in all sorts of different capacities. And that's not something that I really saw when I started doing this like 30 years ago. So I feel hopeful, and I think some of just seeing a lot of the activism and how that's different than the activism from the '60s, and that it is so diverse. It's all different backgrounds and genders and ages, color, all those things. It cuts across all of them in a way that I think is very different, and so that makes me feel hopeful about what this can be, I think, going forward. I mean, the world would be a very boring place if we had to just do everything or look at everything from just one lens and one perspective. And it strengthens us and makes us better, as a profession, to have to reflect the ideas of a more diverse group of people in design, because as we all have different ideas and different tastes or aesthetics and style and approaches to doing things. So I think it's definitely time for the industry to sort of open and embrace people who look like me.
I have two more questions as we wrap this up. Did anyone ever give you some advice that really resonated with you?
And I'm sure, I'm sure over the years I've gotten lots of advice that resonated. I think, for me, one of the biggest things always has been just trusting, your intuition, trusting your gut. And I find that when I do things that I believe in, that are coming from a sort of authentic place, they usually work out very well. If I do things that I don't really, I just feel like aren't really a right fit, whether it's a client, whether it's an employee, that are, and not to say you shouldn't be sort of challenged in certain ways, I think those situations tend to not work out as well as the ones in which I trust in myself and trust in my own intuition. And I think that people often get sidetracked with other things. For instance, social media can be overwhelming. You know what I mean? Looking at everybody else's, page or post on Instagram and sort of then second guessing maybe I should have painted that yellow, or wow, how come I didn't have that? And starting to sort of compare yourself to other designers, to other people, what someone else has is that you don't have. And I think it's very easy to, I guess, get distracted when you do that. So I try to kind of keep that to a minimum, because, only kind of what your path, what you kind of want your own path to look like. So I think it's always better to listen to your own voice more than probably anyone else's.
Last question, and in ASID, the theme is design impacts lives. How do you think your design impacts the clients and those who interface with your products and your brand?
I think, design absolutely impacts life, and I think it impacts life more than ever now with COVID, because everybody's at home, and I think we all realize the importance of home environments, of space. So I think, I hope that for me, the impact is that I have inspired people. I hope part of the impact is that I've helped people to think of things or look at things in a different way than they may have, originally. Part of the impact, I hope, is also, educating people, educating clients, about some of the things that I bring into their homes, and helping people to kind of live their best lives, in an environment that makes them happy and makes them feel secure and safe and comfortable and supports their life or lifestyle, whatever that, whatever that is, and have it, last for a long time.
Sheila, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have this conversation, to invite us into your house, and just your authentic words. I love the way that your work. I think it just makes me happy. It has this like the cat you said in your bathroom. It's a surprise, and truly, I think your impact is and I treasure our friendship, and thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Darren. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, we'll continue the conversation later.
Okay, sounds good. All right, bye.
Thanks.